One of the biggest aspects of my development as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a serial entrepreneur, and a creative entrepreneur, coach, strategist, and how I got here, it all started when I was 16 years old, taking the Dale Carnegie Public Speaking and Human Effectiveness course. It's just been one of the most impactful things in my life. And it's been such a foundation for me that I cannot help but share this with you. And what I'm going to share with you is I'm going to summarize for you all of the points in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is the actual book that I got at age 16. It's yellowed pages full of my notes that I read. And in 1988, spring of 1988, I was given this book and I went through this 12-week course called it was Public Speaking and Human Effectiveness course. And I got in front of people, I gave speeches, learned how to talk to people and in public, and overcame my fear of speaking with people and understood how to talk to people and how to work with people. And it has been incredibly impactful in my life. And so I wanted to summarize the main points of this book for you so that you can kind of get the cliff notes and move forward and think about how you can apply each one of these points in your life. So I'm going to start from the beginning. In the beginning, the book talks about techniques in handling people. And the goal is, and the theme is, how to positively influence others without conflict. So the first thing in terms of how to influence others, and I think of this as like if you're in a position of management, if you're in any situation, a sales discussion, in a relationship with your spouse, with your kids, anyone in your life, this can be applied personally and in business. One of the best things you can do is don't lead by criticizing, condemning, or complaining, because criticism breeds resentment. So I know that if I sound critical, and the way I can sound critical is by using words like, why did you do that? Or, why did you do that is a big one, you know? Even asking a question in that way rises defensiveness will rise, or just by simply criticizing, condemning, or complaining. It does not help you. So avoid criticism wherever you can and rephrase words questions where you would normally say, why are you doing this? Or maybe just get curious and say, hey, tell me how that worked for you. Or I noticed this happened when you did this. Can you tell me how that impacted you? How do you feel like that went? And get the other person to explain what the issue was and whatever the situation was. Get them to talk and feel ownership over what's going on instead of criticizing, because you're going to shut people down. I've done that. I'm still learning it. Trust me, I'm still learning it. As a German, I tend to lead with criticism. So it's just kind of in my nature. I hate to stereotype Germans, but we tend to be a little harsh. At least that's the feedback I've gotten over the years. Okay. Another technique in positively influencing others is to give honest and sincere appreciation. Give recognition. Recognize where people are winning. Give recognition, sincere, and be honest about it. Like, find good things that people are doing. Almost everyone is doing something good. So rather than leading with a criticism or complaint, start with appreciation for the gift that they have and recognize them. And then the last part of this technique in handling people is arousing in other people an eager want, focusing on what they desire, not what you want. So if you can be thinking always, when you have someone, you're staring someone in the eyes, and you can be thinking about what they want. The same works with YouTube's live streams. I need to be thinking about what you want. And the more we get to know each other this way, the more I'm going to recognize and be aware of what you want. What do you want me to talk about? What, help me to see what you desire so that I can focus on that and give you what you want, but in an honest and sincere way, without criticizing, without condemning, without complaining. So those are some of the 3 techniques to start with that he talks about in How to Win Friends and Influence People in handling people. Now, here's a good one. My oldest son, he told me, he said, "This sounds so manipulative." I understand that it sounds manipulative, but if you do it in a sincere way, in a genuine way, you're not manipulating. But the way it's put in this Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is 6 ways to make people like you. I don't particularly love that because I don't like making people do anything, because that's where the manipulation comes in. But the goal is still the same. If you have a desire to be liked or appreciated, or desire human connection or rapport with people, you should do these things. These principles haven't died. And the first one is one of my favorites. I say this almost weekly. Be genuinely interested in other people. Sincerity shows. Be genuinely interested in other people. So when I'm in a room, I go to an event, in a public event somewhere, a social event, and I don't know anyone, the first thing I'm going to look for is I'm going to try to, in any conversation, I'm going to try to take genuine interest in the other person. What gets me, though, is if I'm in a room with famous people, I find it hard because I feel like these people probably have a lot of people taking genuine interest in them, and it feels like I'm, sucking up to them. And so when I'm talking to a famous person, I tend to not implement this as well. And I think it's some kind of block I have, but I think I have to get over it, because I talk to a lot of like celebrity people, or when I'm in a room with famous people, I can take a genuine interest in something that is something other than them being famous, like what activities they're interested in, what do they like to do for fun, or whatever it is. Like, try to find other points of connection rather than them being well known, So that's really important to me. Be genuinely interested in other people. Number 2, smile. One of the things I love about my kids is they all have really good smiles. And when they smile, man, it really is the universal language of warmth. When you smile, it really works. So make sure you smile and you take a genuine interest in other people. You're going to find you're going to get a lot of rapport and a lot of connection, make a lot of connection with people. Remember and use a person's name. It's the sweetest sound to them. That's another one. Try to remember their name. I'm terrible at name remembering, but if I can be focused, it helps me to be present as well. If I can focus on remembering their name, then it helps me to be present and not off in a distance. If I can look at them, quickly try to identify. I think about the funny Office episode where Michael Scott tries to teach people to remember their name, and he like demonstrates how he remembers everybody's name, and it's all these insulting things about the people. I love Michael Scott. He's absolutely my favorite person in the world, because I can totally. But however you need to remember someone's name, try to identify something unique about them that you will not forget their name. I do this a lot because I go to the coffee shop. I have a regular coffee shop I go to in where I live. And I always try to give the person that's my cashier, or the person checking me out or taking my order, they try to remember their name. And sometimes I'm terrible at it, but sometimes I'm pretty good at it. So anyway, but in any case, remembering and using a person's name is so good, because people love to hear the sound of their own name. They just do. It's not manipulation. It's another way that you can build rapport and human connection. Number 4, be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. This is so true. I'm actually uncomfortable talking about myself. I can't wait for these live streams to start having real people on them, because I can't wait to talk to you. I want to get feedback. I'm going to crave that. When I was doing the live post-episode events for Walker Stalkers, I loved it because it was so much fun. I love live events. I love getting together in person because I love leading small groups and encouraging others to talk. So encourage other people to talk about themselves. Have some go-to questions that work for you. Like, hey, what are you excited about right now? What are you working on right now? What do you do for a living? Or what do you think about the weather these days? Whatever it is, you just try to have some staple questions that you can think of. Even things that are like, hey, I feel awkward. How do you feel in these situations in the social setting? I'm always awkward in these, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, great. Well, we can connect. There's a human connection we just made, So talking in terms of the other person's interests, that's another form of getting them to talk about themselves. Meet them where they are. Try to find some interests that they have outside of work or outside of the setting that you're in. Try to tell them, what do you like to do for fun? What are some things that you do on the weekends? Or what do you do at night when you're not working? Or what kind of shows do you like? What are you interested in? There's so much that you can ask people about, but take an interest in them sincerely and talk in terms of their interests. Be a good listener, encouraging them to talk about themselves, remembering their name, smiling, being genuinely interested in other people. These are some wins right there. I'm telling you, these are 6 ways to make people like you for sure, and build rapport and human connection. And the last one is sincerely make the other person feel important and mean it. So make sure that you're taking an interest. When I'm in a conversation and someone asks me questions about myself, I notice it because they made me feel important. And they did it in a genuine way. And I tell you what, if you wrap all that up together and you try to do those things in a social setting or in a one-on-one meeting or in a meetup or a group, speak to another person's importance. When you speak to their importance, when you make them feel important, when you mean it, and you take a genuine interest in the other person, you are going to build some serious rapport and human connection. So those are 6 ways to make people like you from the book. There's just a few more here now. Win people to your way of thinking. Persuasion through empathy and respect. Okay, so this is taking it deeper. This is not only just building rapport and human connection. Now we are talking about persuasion. And I've learned more about persuasion through Dale Carnegie than anything else. And this is probably another reason why my son doesn't love it, and why he kind of objected to it at first, is because it felt manipulative, but it's not. It's just the art of persuasion through empathy and respect. And so here are some quick points that Dale Carnegie makes in the book about winning people to your way of thinking. The best way to win an argument is to avoid it. So avoid arguments. I try to do this. I try to avoid arguments on social media. And when I'm with a person, I try to find common ground. I'm not looking to start an argument with somebody. I love watching debates. I'm fascinated watching debates, and I'm fascinated to hear other people's arguments. That's not it. I'm not worried about that, but I just try not to have an argument with someone. If I do, I'm going to do it with great respect, and I'm definitely not criticizing or complaining. Try not to. Show respect for others' opinions. Never say you're wrong. That's huge. Never say you're wrong directly. I've done that before. It doesn't work out well for me. Always respecting all and fearing none. I heard someone else say on the tennis court when I would play competitive tennis. This guy that was on my tennis team in high school would say, respect all, fear none. And that's true. That works. Another way to win people over, another great point of persuasion, is if you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. Empathetically, yeah. So admit it quickly. Don't have a big ego. Stay humble. Keep your ego in check. That's a big one. I'm really learning to die to myself these days. If you're wrong, admit it. Be quick to admit you're wrong. Oh man, that's helped me so much in my life. Begin conversations in a friendly way. Always helpful. Get others saying yes early and often. That's an art form. I haven't quite mastered that yet, for sure. Getting others to say yes, that's tough. I don't think that way, but I think that's something that's a skill that can be learned. Trying to get to a yes, because the more you have them nodding yes, the more you're going to persuade for agreement. Let others do most of the talking. Love that. Love that. That's one of the reasons I don't like these live streams, because I'm doing way too much talking. Let them feel the idea is theirs. So that can feel manipulative, but again, always point the conversation back to them, asking them questions that will persuade them to get to a yes, an agreement. You can't always do this, but it's a great goal, is to let them feel the idea is theirs. Try sincerely to see things from their point of view. Super helpful. Doesn't mean I have to change my point of view, but just to see things from another person's point of view has really helped me a lot. It's really helped me build empathy for that person. It's really helped me build respect and rapport with that person, not getting in an argument with them, but sincerely trying to see things from their point of view is really important. Be sympathetic to their ideas and desires. Appeal to nobler motives. So trying to find higher common ground, morally, ethically, that, hey, you and I agree that this kind of thing is right to do. It's right to do these kind of things, right? Yeah. So appealing to nobler motives. Dramatize your ideas. You'd use vivid storytelling. That's something that I hope to learn through YouTube, is through doing this new YouTube channel, is I hope to do a lot more vivid storytelling and trying to learn the art of starting YouTube videos with a hook or something that grabs your attention so that you're able to watch the long form, for example. So the art of storytelling is something I want to learn how to do. So dramatize your ideas is very important. Learn how to tell good stories. Throw down a challenge. Friendly competition inspires action. So a little challenge is not a bad thing at all. Challenging them is good. All right, last segment. So moving from handling people to merely handling people to making people like you, building rapport, to winning people over through persuasion. Lastly, being a leader, how to change people without giving offense. So this is kind of the leadership aspect of how to win friends and influence people that I find really helpful. Inspiring improvement in others gracefully. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. In any conversation, you always want to, again, it goes back to building rapport and handling people. You want to start with praise and honest appreciation of a person and respect. Call attention to mistakes indirectly. Again, these are art forms that you need to practice, but calling attention to mistakes indirectly is vital because, again, it helps them to see things. Getting people to see mistakes indirectly without directly attacking them is really an art form. It's something I still have yet to learn very well. I don't do this very gracefully yet. Asking questions instead of giving direct orders. Again, really, really vital. Talk about your own mistakes first. Being very quick to admit your own mistakes. Letting people save face. In other words, honoring them by not putting them down publicly is really, really important. I was just listening to the news today, and it was talking about how President Trump is going to be meeting with the leader of China, Xi, and how he will make sure that Xi will save face so that there won't be dishonor there in public between Trump and Xi. And I definitely think that's very important to, I guess, the Asian culture. So letting other people save face is a valuable asset, not publicly shaming them. Praising any improvement, no matter how small, really important in leadership. Giving people a fine reputation to live up to. That again goes back to the nobler values. But calling people up to a higher standard and reputation is vital. You can do this in a lot of different ways, but it's really important. Use encouragement. Make faults seem easy to correct. So speaking life and hope and helping people to not only push them up to a higher standard, but pulling them up and encouraging them along the way is really important. And that they can do it, helping them to see that it's easy to correct. And then making the other person happy about doing what you suggest. I don't love that phrasing, but basically, I guess I would rephrase this and say making sure that other people are satisfied and happy. And you do that by helping them to see and take ownership of things in their lives that they can take leadership over. So, friends, that is the How to Win Friends and Influence People summary. I think if I were to put this in a nutshell and summarize it, it's take a genuine interest in other people. Take a sincere interest in other people. Talk about their interests and their point of view. Smile, honor, respect one another. And you are going to go very, very far in your life. And you're going to see incredible changes in your personal life, in your business life. I know it's impacted me tremendously. And so I encourage you to, whatever stage of life you're in, to apply these principles, and you're going to see tremendous change and impact.